What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. So before I go forward, I want to give a shout out to Quindrick for the $10 donation via the Cash App. Salute you for showing love to Too Raw for TV. So look, while we're constantly trying to counter the supreme glaze that ESPN and all of the plants, the clutch plants that are in place, in the whole sports blogosphere, guys like, Shannon Sharp, you know, uh, the people that are on ESPN, especially Kendrick Perkins, Richard Jefferson, you know, Nick Wrong, and many others. We're here to present what we think is a fair case for why he is not the GOAT. Because they're constantly trying to undermine Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and nobody in the mainstream sports media ever calls that out. That they're constantly pushing propaganda to undermine these guys. But we're the bad guys when we just do the same thing, right? We're evil when we do the same thing. So here's another point that doesn't get brought up enough. We're always talking about Scottie Pippen's infamous migraine headache game. Game 7 of the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals between the bad boy Detroit Pistons and the upstart Chicago Bulls. And many Chicago Bulls fans and many sports pundits believe had Scottie Pippen simply came out and had a decent game by his standards then, and that would have been 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Instead of going 1 for 10 from the field, I think he scored like maybe 2 or 3 points. Ineffective on defense, ineffective throughout most of the game. And at one point, despite Jordan's teammates going something like a combined 14 or 63 from the field, the Bulls actually pulled to within 10 of this game. If Scottie just simply had a decent game, a game in which they lost by 19 points, the Bulls might have had a shot. And that's one of the albatrosses around Scottie Pippen's neck. Now, Scottie's a 6-time NBA champion, and he still doesn't live down that game, right? As well as the blown 15-point lead in the 2000 Western Conference Finals when he was and he was playing against the Lakers squad. So why doesn't LeBron James ever get any flack for the Cramp game? He doesn't get much shit for that. That's a game in which the air conditioning broke down in San Antonio, and many of the players started overheating, obviously suffering from dehydration. LeBron seemed to be affected the most. Okay, to the point where he had to leave the game with something I think under 4 minutes to go. Now, people don't question his heart. People don't question his toughness. I don't know what he was feeling. He could have been feeling overwhelming sickness at that point in time. All I know is that another feller by the name of Michael Jordan was dealing with dehydration, cramping, vomiting, nausea, splitting headaches, and he didn't quit. He stayed in the game. And not only did he stay in the game, he was the deciding factor in that Chicago Bulls' decisive Game 5 victory on the road against the Utah Jazz. Scoring 38 points and hitting a dagger 3 to seal the deal, while Scottie Pippen, the guy who should have been stepping up when Mike felt like absolute shit, I believe he went 5 for 17 from the field that game. The reason why it's so important to bring this game up is when LeBron James, who we all are told is such a brilliant performer, when LeBron James left that game, the Spurs were only up by 2 points. So that was at that point, a winnable game. Afterwards, when LeBron James left, the Spurs went on a tremendous run and won the game easily. Afterwards, of course, the Spurs won games 3, 4, and 5, had a 3-1 lead, and I think they won that series in six, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, excuse me, they won 3, 4, and 5 and won the series. Won the series 4-1. At the time, the most lopsided series in NBA history. But because of how lopsided that series is, it doesn't get it's not that game one, you know, meltdown doesn't get magnified as much as say a game seven or a series that's perceived to be close, to the wire, and you look for all the little different things that could have gone differently that could have changed the outcome. But if the Miami Heat had won that game and then they win game two, then it's a totally different series. So I say again, why does that game and why does his shortcoming and his lack of toughness, since they want to compare him to Kobe Bean Bryant all the time now all of a sudden, why doesn't that get talked about more? I mean, I'm not even including the fact that the San Antonio Spurs just completely ran roughshod over this Miami Heat team. Uh, the fact that a guy who was a role player named Kawhi Leonard completely, at times, um, dominated this series. And we didn't know that he was going to become the player that he ultimately became, but he wasn't the same Kawhi Leonard that he is today, right? But this is a series that most experts expected Miami to win because the perception was, well, they beat them last year psychologically. LeBron's gotten that victory over Tim Duncan, and Tim Duncan was closing in on 40 years of age at this time. And it was like, people thought Miami was going to become a dynasty because they had won 2012, 2013, and they thought they were going to three-peat and join Mike and Kobe. And I remember the fan base talking that crap only to see them get blown out by a ridiculous margin. At the time, a record-breaking margin. The series was not competitive at all. This was a defending two-time back-to-back champion. And for them to get massacred like that in that series, and for LeBron to choke like that when it comes to tapping out, that's why I don't really take a lot of these pundits seriously. They talk about how tough and you know, how tenacious he is, and oh, he would have killed it in the '70s, and oh, really? Because if he couldn't take that heat, then how the fuck would he have prospered playing in the old Boston Garden, where they purposely turned the air conditioning off, where the fans used to yell all types of disgusting racial epithets at players, particularly black players? Ask JoJo White what he went through, and Sam Jones, if he was still alive, and Bill Russell. This guy complains about the littlest infractions. Oh, her Get her out of here. She's talking crap to me. I don't know, man. But yeah, tell me what you guys think.